Across Texas, over 50,000 teaching positions now sit empty, shattering records and pushing some districts to alarming 20 to 30% vacancy rates. Classrooms overflow, with 40 students squeezed into spaces meant for half that, and desperate schools are being forced to leave entire class periods unsupervised. Is this the tipping point for public education, or is it just the beginning of something even more unsettling? By the start of the 2024 to 2025 school year, Texas classrooms face a teacher vacancy crisis that is staggering in both scale and scope. State records show more than 42,000 teachers now standing in front of students without full Texas certification, a number that has tripled since 2019. These are not just figures on paper. In district after district, especially in rural and high-need areas, superintendents report hundreds of teaching jobs posted for months with no qualified applicants at all. In some small towns, vacancy rates reach as high as 25% or even 30%, leaving entire grade levels or core subjects without a permanent teacher. One superintendent in the Panhandle described walking into the school year with nearly a third of his teaching positions either vacant or filled by emergency hires. Statewide, the Texas Education Agency data confirms that 12% of all teachers are now uncertified, the highest rate in state history. National education researchers estimate that when you combine unfilled jobs, long-term substitute placements, and uncertified hires, Texas is approaching 50,000 classrooms, where students lack a fully prepared educator. In some districts, math and special education posts have remained open for years, with human resources logs showing dozens of repostings and no takers. The result is a patchwork of stopgap measures, from signing bonuses to 4-day school weeks, as districts scramble to fill the gaps. The numbers reveal a system stretched to the breaking point, with the largest teacher shortage Texas has ever seen. In classrooms across Texas, the school day begins with a crush of students and not enough desks to go around. Elementary teachers now face rosters listing 32 or even 35 children, a number once considered unthinkable. In high schools, it is not unusual to see 40 or more teenagers squeezed into a single period. Official state limits on class size have become little more than paperwork, as districts file waivers year after year just to keep the schedule afloat. The numbers on these rosters are not abstract. They translate to wall-to-wall backpacks, students sharing tables, and lessons delivered through a steady background of noise. When a teacher calls in sick, the substitute system often collapses under its own weight. District logs from the past year show hundreds of days when no substitute could be found, leaving classrooms to be split between neighboring teachers, or, in some cases, left without any certified adult at all. On a September morning in Dallas, 3 core classes at Jefferson Middle School went unsupervised for an entire period. Parents later complained of chaos and safety risks, but these incidents rarely make it into official reports. The strain is everywhere. Special education teachers juggling 25 or more students with complex needs, kindergarten classes swelling to 28 or 35-year-olds, and teachers stretched so thin that individual attention becomes almost impossible. The result is a daily scramble, with administrators patching holes and students feeling the effects in every crowded, chaotic room. The crisis is no longer hidden in spreadsheets. It is written into the lived reality of Texas schools. A first-year teacher in Texas starts with a paycheck between $44,000 and $52,000, while the national average for new teachers now stands at $61,000. In Dallas-Fort Worth, rent alone often eats up more than half of a teacher's take-home pay, 50 to 60%, according to recent housing market data. The math is simple and unforgiving. In Austin, most teachers cannot afford to live anywhere near their schools, and many spend 1 to 2 hours a day commuting from distant suburbs just to find an apartment that fits their budget. Home ownership has become a distant dream, even for teachers with a decade of experience earning $55,000 to $60,000 a year. Across Texas, the cost of living outpaces salaries, leaving teachers choosing between paying the rent, covering student loans, or buying groceries. This financial squeeze is driving teachers out of the classroom and out of the state, as neighboring regions offer starting salaries $15,000 to $20,000 higher and a realistic path to stability. In Briscoe County, the school board voted to shorten the week to just 4 days, hoping to keep their doors open and attract even a single qualified applicant for vacant teaching posts. The superintendent, facing a 28% vacancy rate, offered signing bonuses of $10,000 to $15,000, money that once funded classroom supplies and extracurriculars. Despite these incentives, several positions remained posted for over a year with no certified applicants. Emergency permits and fast-track hires became the rule, not the exception. Across Texas, more than 42,100 teachers now work without full certification, filling 12% of all teaching positions. In a special education classroom, a parent discovered her child's new teacher had only weeks of training before stepping in. Board minutes from rural districts detail repeated emergency hires and growing concern over whether students are receiving the services they are entitled to. The adaptation is stark. Teachers covering multiple subjects outside their expertise, entire grade levels managed by a single adult, and parents left in the dark about who is actually teaching their children. The desperation to fill classrooms has overtaken the ability to ensure quality instruction. Veteran teachers once anchored Texas schools, guiding new hires through the maze of lesson plans, discipline, and parent calls. Now their numbers are shrinking. Since 2021, more than 8,600 teachers have retired, many pushed out early by changes to the teacher retirement system. The latest teacher retirement system memos confirm rising healthcare premiums and reduced benefits, making retirement the only viable option for some. The result, the average Texas teacher now brings just 11 years of experience to the classroom, a number that has barely budged in a decade. But it hides a hollowing out at the top. As mentors disappear, new teachers face mounting pressure. Polls show most are logging 60 to 70 hours a week, grading at home, covering for absent colleagues, and managing ballooning class sizes. Instead of learning from seasoned veterans, they are left to navigate the chaos alone. Many carry student loan debts between $40,000 and $80,000, with monthly payments that eat into already tight paychecks. The stress is relentless, and burnout comes quickly. Without experienced hands to steady the ship, the cycle of early exits and rookie overload only accelerates. Across Texas, the loss of teachers is now measured in vanished opportunities. At high schools from El Paso to Houston, entire rosters of advanced placement courses have disappeared for the 2024 to 2025 school year. District board minutes list career and technical education programs such as welding, health science, and computer science that were cut from the schedule because no certified instructor could be hired. In rural districts, fine arts and gifted classes have faded away, and counselors have been forced to tell students that band, theater, or robotics will not run this year. The impact reaches beyond electives. Some campuses have dropped upper-level math, advanced science, or bilingual classes, leaving students without a path to college readiness or career certification. Counselors report record numbers of students unable to enroll in their chosen courses, and statewide data show college readiness rates falling. For many Texas students, the door to specialized learning has quietly closed. Legislators responded to the mounting crisis in 2023 with a pay raise bill that tied increases to merit and test scores, not to base salary. The result, some teachers saw bonuses, but most found their paychecks barely changed. Districts, left to fend for themselves, poured local funds into short-term incentives. Signing bonuses, stipends for high-need roles, and pilot projects building affordable teacher housing were funded on school land. In El Paso, one district broke ground on a 50-unit apartment complex for staff. In Houston and Dallas, human resources teams recruited teachers from the Philippines and South America to fill persistent vacancies. But the numbers show these efforts only scratch the surface. Incentive budgets run dry quickly. International hires face visa backlogs. And without a statewide overhaul, the stopgaps multiply while the shortage remains. For many teachers, the promise of real change has yet to arrive. Today, nearly 1 in 5 Texas classrooms is led by an uncertified or inexperienced teacher. As this reality deepens, the quality of public education and the future of Texas itself hangs in the balance. What happens when a state stops investing in those who shape its next generation? Share your thoughts below.